Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm Keith Downey, your host, and we have the pleasure of speaking with John Kraemer, the creative genius behind the Lego Church Project. And for almost 25 years now, John has been building up the Catholic Church one Lego at a time, creating these incredible, intricate, and inspiring models that I believe capture the beauty of our faith. His work not only showcases his incredible talent and dedication, but also serves as a unique form of evangelization and ministry. John, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me here. Great to be here.
Thank you so much. And first off, I caught wind of you and your project from an article on Catholic News Agency, which we'll make sure to have on our show notes. But this is like one of the coolest things I've seen in a while. What was it that inspired you so long ago to start the Lego Church Project, John?
Well, the history of it is that growing up, we lived near Christ the Good Shepherd Parish in Saginaw, Michigan, where I'm at. And so over the years, I was building these rudimentary buildings that eventually turned into churches. When I did the first display at Mount Zion in Flushing, Michigan, that is when it kind of slowly turned into this disability-focused ministry that I've been doing, reaching the point where I started doing the annual displays at Christ the Good Shepherd since 2003. And every year since, I bring the project out there as part of their Advent and Christmas time. So, and then over the years, I just slowly started adding more parishes to the mix to the point where I will usually take this out 3 or 4 times, depending on the year.
Yeah, it's incredible. And if you're watching or if you're listening on radio, you might want to take a peek sometime later this morning and catch the video of Morning Joy here, because in the background of John has one of the it's enormous. It's huge, very intricate. And John, what are some of the reactions you've received from people who have seen your Lego churches in person?
It is kind of amazing. You have the kids who will come up because it's big, it's bright, it's Lego. They know what it is. They know how to use it. But what you get sometimes is from the adults. They're a little bit more reflective. They see themselves inside the project. And something for your audience to take note is that there's a full detail on the inside.
Right.
You've got over 300 figures in there, along with everything that you could find in your typical parish. And that's the other thing that people tend to react to, is how full the church is, which is rooted in prayer, because that's a prayer for the future. Prayer, not a reflection of the past.
Yeah, no, that's very important. And speaking of all the details within the church, you have, crucifixes, statues, obviously not from Lego themselves. So where do you find some of these smaller sized items?
I found one of the statues I found off of Etsy. Rugged Rosaries donated some additional stuff. There are some stained glass designs that someone donated for me. They made them, so I could put them inside. So a lot of it is through the kindness and generosity of those who support my work. I have got a mild form of cerebral palsy, so I'm showing no matter what challenge or disability you face, God can still use your talents. And that has been the core mission for 25 years.
Oh, that's very inspiring. I still have a box of Legos from the 90s, and I still cannot create anything out of them to this day. So I'm curious, what challenges have you faced in creating these intricate Lego churches, and how have you overcome them?
Well, you have to figure that, number one, this is about 47 inches by 26 by 25 inches. And it is held together just with gravity. So you're testing the limits of the Legos themselves. Can they be used in this creative way? You're also testing your own patience, because it can get nerve-wracking in some spots, especially when you're trying to add lights to it, like I have here.
Wow.
So when you look at this, you realize that there's a structure inside there, and sometimes things don't line up according to plan. And then, of course, you've got the challenge of reaching out to parishes to see if they want to bring me out, because I don't drive. So any parish that wants to have me out, like when I was over in Standish, Michigan, a couple weekends ago, They brought me out. They provided the transportation for both the project and myself. Same way with the bazaar I was at this past weekend, and the same way with the bazaar and parish display going on in Midland, Michigan this
Mm.
weekend. So there's always those challenges of trying to find the right parishes to visit, those who
Right.
want to support my work, but also too from the build. You have to figure this thing only took me about a month and a half to
Wow.
construct, and all freehand, no pre-planning, all my own design. So to come up with 25 different churches over the years, and then of course there's always the challenge of when it's done with the final display, the tear down, and then the process to start everything all over again.
Wow. So it takes you a month to create this, and like you said, there's no planning whatsoever. You're just building the blocks as is, which is incredible because I mean, something like that you would almost have to have some sort of planning, I would assume, because it's so like structurally you have to make sure that things are not going to fall. That is incredible. Is there any specific church that you've built over the last 25 years that's has a special meaning for you?
Oh, there's quite a few of them that stand out for different reasons. Season four, which is on the Facebook page, Lego Church Project. Uh, that was my first display at Christ the Good Shepherd, back when it was called St. Helens.
Okay.
Season 18 is particularly fond for me because that was the same year that Father Silas Casey uh, was canonized or in the process. Because I had his picture inside there at the time.
Hmm.
Season 19, I did a disability conference here in Saginaw. I'm trying to think, was there any other ones? Season 23 was a very busy year, so it kind of depends on each year as to which
Yeah.
one becomes a focus. I've had some pretty good reactions to season 25, so and I love how this one turned out because it went by fairly smoothly. It may have taken a little bit
Hmm.
longer than normal, but at the same time, though, there's a lot of prayer that is involved in the build, and it kind of shows through when how things everything turns out.
Huh. Do you ever like kind of hesitate on breaking these things down? Because I mean, you don't you almost want to like leave it, I'm sure. But how does that work?
It's a very bittersweet moment because it will take me about 3.5 days to tear everything down to the bare studs.
Hmm.
But there's also a bit of an excitement because I don't know where the Lord's going to lead me next.
Hmm.
I don't know until I sit down and start praying at the bricks as to what things the Lord wants me to highlight in the build. Does He
Hmm.
want me to focus on the tabernacle? Does He want me to focus on the people? If you look inside my work, you'll also see a lot of representation of disability, uh,
Hmm.
reflective of my own life with the cerebral palsy, but also others who I've run into. I've had a chance to meet a lot of people over the years, some of whom have faced challenges far greater than I could ever understand.
Hmm. That's so cool. Yeah, I mean, I love when you look at this church. It's very inspiring because, like you said, it's very accurate, especially inside. Right, you have the tabernacle where it should be. Right. Did you have to do any sort of research behind, looking at different churches, making sure everything is accurate? What's the research behind these?
Well, a lot of it is because I love to look at pictures of churches. I'm
Mm.
inspired by not only the stuff I see on the internet, but also stuff that I see locally when I visit parishes. I
Mm.
will always take a moment to look around, see where everything's at, so I can get a better understanding of how the church should be laid out. I have a particular art style that I like to use, which brings a highlight to the Eucharist through the tabernacle. Uh,
Mm.
so I try and keep things as accurate as I'm able to within the confines of Lego, but a lot of it's inspired by the places I see. I'm always
Mm.
learning, I'm always studying, and that is critical to what I do.
Wow. Yeah, and just as us Catholics, that's what we're always doing too. Always learning about our faith because there's just really no end to it. Very cool. Any advice you would give to someone who wants to start maybe a similar creative ministry in their own community?
Prayer.
Prayer.
Everything that I do with the project, whether it's through the project with my writing, with the builds, all of it is rooted in prayer. I am putting everything that I have into my prayers, through my hands, through my work. If prayer is not your foundation, your ministry will not be successful. If you have to give everything to the Lord to allow Him to do work through you. And I think that by remaining as humble as I can, I think that's allowed me to do this for 25 years, to be able to come on to programs and share what God is doing in my life. And it's very rewarding in its own way. You may not always see the rewards right away, but they're there. And it's very important for what I do.
Wow, that was great. I know we have maybe like 40 seconds left here, but as we conclude, do you have any message of hope and creativity you'd like to share with our listeners about the Lego Church Project?
Always be inspired by what goes on in your life. You never know where the Lord will lead you, and be open to where He will guide you.
So good. Wow. John, thank you so much for joining us. We can find more about your Lego Church Project. I would say probably just search Lego Church Project on Facebook. That will be able to see all the videos and pictures of this incredible work that you're doing. We'll also make sure to link up that Catholic News Agency article, which is how I discovered you, John. But can't thank you enough for hopping on, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And that is it for Morning Joy, where truth matters this morning. Now, there's a couple ways we can go. If you're listening on the radio, you can stay tuned for the Holy Mass coming up next. If that's the case, as always, please pray for us. We'll pray for you. But we recommend you can also join us on our after-show clubhouse. We can just hang out, really just debrief from the show, especially as we talk about hope. It's been a major theme in today's show. Hope. Never give up hope. And you can find us by searching Morning Joy Radio or GRN online on any of the social medias. We recommend YouTube because we have such a great community there, and you won't want to miss out on it. But otherwise, if this is us parting ways, as always, make sure to tune in tomorrow. That's Friday, 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern, here on Morning Joy, where truth matters. But until next time, God bless, and make it a joyful day. We'll see you.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.